Today I want to talk about this lens right here. This is the Thypoch 28mm F1.4 Simera lens, everybody. This is the full frame version. I tested this out on the Fujifilm X mount version and I like that lens on the Fujifilm X mount, but I always thought there was something missing because that lens was made for a full frame sensor and Fuji X mounts are APS-C sensors, so you're not using the entire lens when you're using it on a crop censored body. Thypoch decided to send me the one for the Z mount for me to test it out, and I've been using it for several weeks. I just want to give you my thoughts on this lens right here. I got the silver colorway, and let me tell you, it's a beautiful looking lens. It's built with metal construction. It has a focusing tab right here. Very well dampened, very smooth. I like manually focusing on this lens better than other manual lenses that I've used in the past. So that's a big plus for Thypoch. And over here you can see it has the aperture dial. And and this is the hyper focus thing that they have. When you close down, you can see these little red little red dots appear, which is a nice touch. Aperture ring goes from f1.4 all the way to f16, everybody. It's a manual focusing lens. There's no weather sealing, no digital contacts at the back, so you can't read your EXIF data. This lens also has a 49mm filter thread, and I think it's a gorgeous lens. However, what I did notice when having this lens for several weeks is the silver does actually scratch a lot easier than the black one. So if you guys are getting this lens and you guys want something that doesn't want to scratch, I recommend you getting the black one, because the silver one, it's only been like 3 weeks and I'm already getting scratches, so just keep that in mind. Overall, there's nothing bad I can say about the build quality. I think it's built quite well. I think a lens like this should be on something like the Nikon ZF, just because it'll look better. On the Nikon Z8, you know, look, it's just a little bit chunkier than I would like. This is the only Nikon Z camera that I have, so that's why we're using on this. So I think this lens paired with the Nikon ZF would be a gorgeous combo. But enough about build quality. How about the image quality? Why don't I go show you guys a few pictures that I took with this lens, and then we'll come back and talk about the image quality. The image quality on this lens is pretty good on the Nikon Z8, something that is a high resolution sensor at 45 megapixels. And when shooting this at f1.4, it is sharp, but it's not like clinically sharp. It's not, there's a certain softness to it in the center that I like, especially when it comes to shooting portraits, which is my forte. When I was shooting with this lens on a photo shoot at the beach, I was having a lot of fun with this lens. It made sense for this lens. I was shooting at the beach, so I was getting a lot of wide shots mixed with like the background, like the sand and the mountains. And I think that this lens killed it in that scenario. And once you stop it down to around f8, that's where you can find the lens to be at its most sharp. There is heavy vignetting on f1.4, so that's something you have to keep in mind if you're going to shoot this wide open as well. When it comes to bokeh, there is bokeh, but you need to be close to your subject. At 28 millimeters, it's kind of wide, so there's not going to be any like compression shot you get from like a 50 millimeter lens or even an 85 millimeter lens. So you're gonna have to get close, and the minimum focusing distance on this lens is 40 centimeters. So you got to get close to the subject and then open up that aperture, and then you're gonna see some nice smooth bokeh. There is a certain character to it. When you zoom in on your bokeh, you see like all these playful bokeh balls. It reminds me of like the soap bubble bokeh, not like, you know, the conventional smooth bokeh. You get some playful characteristics that I do enjoy out of this lens. But saying that, there's also things you got to be aware of. There's a heavy vignetting at f1.4 with this lens. There is also chromatic aberrations, purple fringing and green fringing. If you shoot this wide open and you do some pixel peeping, you're gonna see that in this lens as well. It's not bad, but it is there. When you shoot this backlit, you're gonna see some flaring as well. Once you shoot into the sun, it's not gonna hold its contrast. And aside from not holding its contrast, it also produces like this red ring depending on how the light is hitting the lens. So again, that's something to keep in mind. You can use it artistically, but it's there. And another reason why I like this lens so much is because I used to own the Ricoh GR2, and when you put in the crop factor, it is about a 28 millimeter full frame field of view. And I used to take that around with me traveling in Australia, and I used to love the shots that I would take with the Ricoh GR2. For portraits, I try not to shoot anything wider than a 35 millimeter focal length. I just find that anything wider, it gets a little bit difficult. And the 28 millimeter is a strange lens to me because I never gotten used to it. However, taking this around town here in the Algarve was especially fun because it was a little bit wider, so I can capture more of the environment, and it's especially good for something like the Algarve here where there's just like so much space. This lens does come with a challenge because I'm not used to it, so I have to think differently when it comes to my composition. When that happens, I do have more fun because now I'm using my creative juices all over again. That's why I wanted to try this lens again, especially at this focal length. All I want out of any lens, if you're a weird, funky lens and I have to try to think a lot more, then that's a lens that I want to try, and that's the lens that I'm gonna have a lot of fun time figuring out, because it's a lens that I'm trying to get good at, I'm trying to get used to, and I'm trying to come up with different compositions. At the time of this recording, this lens is on sale. I think Thypoch is having a sale right now. So if you're interested in this lens, I'll leave the links down in the description below. Thypoch said if you use my link, you're gonna get free shipping on top of the sale that they have going on with this lens right here. And overall, I'm having a lot of fun with this lens. This lens is a character lens, I would say. It's a beautiful lens when you know how to use the focal length. I'm pretty sure someone else who is well versed in this focal length will take even better photos than what I have shown in today's video. But there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little review of the Thypoch 28mm f1.4 Simera lens for the Nikon Z mount. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing for more gear review content like this. And again, if you're interested, links down in the description. And what are your thoughts on this lens? Do you guys own one, have one? Let me know down in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And thanks so much.